Hi everyone, this is Eldad Amara with my channel Eyes Wide Shut, where I talk about things such as current affairs, political affairs and things of that nature. Now, I've got another channel, which is a side channel, and it's called Spiritual Echelons, where I look at things more to do with the metaphysical, religion, spirituality, acupuncture, meditation, and things such as UFOs, aliens, all of those kinds of things. Now, I forgot to say to everyone, Happy New Year, Happy 2025. I know things come through for you. Whatever you want to do, I hope you succeed in that. Today I want to talk to you about how fear of failure can kill our confidence. This is going to be part 1 of 3 videos. This is how fear of failure can kill our confidence. You see, many people always looking for other people for approval, for self-approval, instead of looking for self-approval. They're always trying to find ways to satisfy other people and not to satisfy themselves. Approval can be something that can be quite fleeting, because as soon as you've proved one thing to a person, you need to go and prove something else to them. So it's almost like a scratch needle on a record. Once one thing has come through and you satisfy that one approval, you are then looking for other ways of trying to find approval by a group of people, or by your friends, or by your workmates. Why are we always seeking approval of others instead of trying to be our true, authentic self? Why do we need to go outside of ourselves in order to satisfy other people? You see, people have this thing, the fear of failure. You see, there's some people out there, they always seeking approval of others because they want to fit in. They want to be accepted by other people instead of trying to be their true, authentic self. How many people out there really, well and truly, ever try to find a true, authentic self? As Bob Marley and also Marcus Garvey once said, people, you need to learn to know thyself. To know thyself, you need to go inward and find your true self and try and be your true, authentic self, rather than trying to find approval from other people, because those things are fleeting. Once you've approved yourself by doing something that favors the group, you go and try and do something else. And once you've proved that thing, you need to go on again and to try to find something else to find some kind of approval by your friends or by this group. And another thing is that there's so many people who follow the group or the herd mentality instead of trying to be original, trying to be authentic. To find our true self, we need to go inward instead of looking outward and always looking outward for approval from other people. We need to go inward and find ourselves, to try and find our true, authentic self. Know thyself, as Bob Marley once said. And there's a famous Roman poet by the name of Juvenal. He said, give the people bread and circuses. Why? Why give the people bread and circuses? Because that way, people such as the government can appease the people, keep them distracted, keep them entertained through television, keep them entertained through films, keep them entertained through magazines and books, keep them entertained through music, keep them entertained through social media. Everything they can, to try and do everything they can to distract people, rather than people trying to find out the truth and trying to find out their true, authentic self. You see, they're living in a world which was kind of created for them. You see, many people, instead of living their own authentic life, they're living the narratives of somebody else. They've been distracted by TV. They've been distracted by radio. They've been distracted by social media. And instead of trying to look inward at themselves, trying to find themselves, they're being constantly distracted. And some of this is not of their own fault, because there's a system that was set up in order to keep people distracted from the truth and distracted from knowing their true, authentic self. How many of us spend time alone with ourselves, even if it's only for 15 or 20 minutes a day? We're always being distracted by somebody else or something else. Sitting down watching TV programs, sitting down watching the news, getting onto social media and watching all the gossip that's going on social media. The more time that you're giving up to other people is the less time that you're spending for yourself. And many people, they use these things as a form of distraction in order to keep themselves from thinking about their own situation and their own problems. What do I mean by that? They use these things as a form of distraction instead of trying to get on with their own lives. You see, the fear of failure keeps people in their box. It keeps people from trying to find out who they really truly are. They procrastinate. They'll sit there and they'll think to themselves, I wish I could be like Jay-Z, the rap artist. I wish I could be like Beyonce. I wish I had the money of Kanye West. He's a billionaire. I don't know how he managed to make so much money, but I wish I had his position. I wish I had his house. I wish I had the looks of Beyonce, her hair. I wish I had her car. I wish I had a house like Beyonce. How did these people get to the position in which they are in? It wasn't just by sitting down and just watching other people. They had a plan. They had a plan and then they executed it. And they may have failed several times. They might have failed several times before they got to the position to which they're in now. Some people are so afraid of failure, they don't do anything in order to try and combat that. Some people, they'll find all kinds of excuse not to do a certain thing. They might want to go to college, but they turn around and they will say, I wish I could go to college, but I don't think I'm bright enough. Or, I wish I could take driving lessons, but I don't have enough money for that. I wish I could become a pop star, but I don't have the talent for that. All of this negative self-talk, keeps people from trying. It stops people from trying. It stops people from trying to find a true, authentic self. There is nothing wrong with failure. What is wrong is that you don't try. Because, you can try something several times and not succeed. But eventually, if you stick to that plan, you will succeed. Somebody had a driving test and they had something like 6 driving tests altogether and failed 6, and on the 7th they passed. I have another friend who told me just the other day that their mother I had 16 driving tests and passed on the 17th. Now, people such as this, they're obviously very determined. And yes, they're afraid of failure, but wanting to succeed outpassed and outweighed that failure, that fear. Wanting to succeed surpass the failure and the fear. You might have to get up several times off the floor after being knocked down to succeed. Never let failure be something that stops you from trying to do what you want to do. People, we should stop chasing after approval. We should try and become our true, authentic self. Try and know thyself. Try and know thyself. There was a famous philosopher by the name of Socrates, and he said, an unexamined life is not worth living. What did he mean by this? Life is about discovery. Life is about research. Life is about trying to get to know yourself. Life is about trying to learn. But an unexamined life where people spend time being distracted through things such as TV, radio, social media, you never get to discover who you truly are. You will never get to discover who you truly are. An unexamined life is not worth living. Give the people bread and circuses. Said poet Juvenal, give the people bread and circuses. Keep them distracted. Keep people away from the truth. Keep them away from knowing about themselves. These things are more important for us to try and get to know ourselves. And it is okay to fail. What is not okay is for us not to try. We are emotionally constipated in our thoughts. We are emotionally constipated in our emotions. Fear stops us from doing things that makes us imprisoned within our own self. The way we talk about ourselves and the things that we say to ourselves projects how we feel about ourselves outwardly. The words that we use to describe ourselves, the things that we say about ourselves will project outwardly. See, the mind is very strong. The mind is very strong. And through using negative language, it will create a negative frequency and negative emotion around you. If you use positive language, use positive affirmation, that will help to raise up your vibration and your frequency. Whereas if you use a lot of negative words, a lot of negative language, then it will lower your vibration. So it's very important that the words that you use to describe yourself, try and use positive language and imagery. Another thing we have to be aware of is the people that we move amongst. Sometimes we'll have friends, and if they are quite negative in themselves, that negativity will pass over onto you. If they have very little motivation, trust that that lack of motivation will pass over onto you. Some people will try and keep you down, and although they say that they're friends, they don't want to see you succeed. So, if you move amongst positive-minded people, you'll find that that energy and that frequency will help to raise you and will help to raise your self-esteem and your motivation Do not move amongst people who are negative minded and have little motivation, because that will only pull you down. Anyway, this is part 1 of this video, with part 2 to come, where I shall look at the power of words and how the power of words carry different vibration and different frequency. So watch out for part 2 to this video. And remember, there's 3 parts. If you liked this video, please like, comment, subscribe and share. This is Eldad, Amara, over and out.